A bit late, you know, almost a little bit when you introduced me.
Really?
Say that bird act is just great, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the reason I was late, you know, the fellow who owns the birds, he said to you that a bird will bite you whenever he feels like it. So I held the bird, and the bird felt like doing something else. So it took me a while, and I'm here.
How are you? It's good to see you again.
I'm fine. Fellow my age.
Yes, the day before, or yesterday, wasn't it?
My birthday.
February the 14th was your birthday.
My birthday, that's right.
Can I tell them how old you were?
Well, the only reason I don't like to tell...
I know you don't.
...is because I always kid about being 39. Well, if I kid about 39, and then I turn around and tell them my right age, 77, it's ridiculous. Don't you think so? I mean, I should... No, really, I had the funniest telegram. You know that this is the first time that I can remember telling my age. And I don't mind it sometimes, you know. But I had the funniest telegram from Mel Blanc on my birthday. You know Mel Blanc.
Sure.
And all the wire said was, if I've told you once, I've told you 77 times happy birthday.
That's good.
Say, I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
Johnny, I want to ask you something. Now, I've been on your show, I don't know, would you say 15 times?
Sure.
Something like that.
Sure.
And every time you introduce me, you never know what to say. You know, I've heard you introduce jugglers, acrobats, but me, bird acts. But me, you always say, what can I say about this man? Here he is. Is it because you're in such awe of me, is it? Or you love me so much?
I think that's what it is.
Now,
remember...
there must be something.
Now,
I've been in this business for years and years. There must be something to me, something you can say.
Well, I think I get embarrassed. Now, remember 2 years ago, your 75th birthday party that I emceed at the one of the hotels here in town?
No, but what I mean...
And I gave you such a
know.
lavish introduction.
No, you didn't.
You
didn't. You didn't. You always say, what can I say about this? Till it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to say the world's greatest comedian.
Right.
You know, even if it were true. Or America's greatest comedian. I don't expect that. You could say one of 5 great comedians. Or one of 3. You know, or maybe one of 2. And you're conceited enough to know who the other one is.
No, I know that.
No, but listen. Once, I got to tell you something. Not long ago, there was a big dinner given to me by the television, Freddie, your producer, no, Television Academy, wasn't it?
That's right.
In fact, your producer ran this show. This is the producer who used to be my director, whom you stole from me.
That's right.
You steal everything from me, my walk,
your walk,
and everything. Although I stole my walk from Loretta Young, so that doesn't make any difference. So that doesn't make any difference. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, what this man did to me. It was a big dinner given in my honor by the Television Academy. And it being that I was the honored guest, naturally, I was the last speaker, right? And again, he got up. And he said, ladies and gentlemen, what can I say about this man? All I can say is, Jack Benny. So I got up, nice reception, and I talked for about 15, 20 minutes And I must say, Johnny, if you remember, I was in good form that night, wasn't I?
Yes.
I got a lot of big laughs. And when I finished, I sat down, got a nice ovation, I sat down. What do you think this man said? I'm not making this up. What he said right afterwards. With tears in his eyes. Because all the time I was talking, he was looking at me like this. And he said, after I sat down, he said, ladies and gentlemen, wasn't he wonderful? Well, everybody applauded. What can you do? You have to applaud, right? If you say, wasn't he wonderful? Then he said, you know what I was thinking? There were actually tears in his eyes. I was thinking, when Jack Benny, this great man, when he passes away, who's going to take his place? He said that. And he wouldn't stop. He kept going, and the audience was crying. I don't know what... He said, we all must go someday. He says, when this fine comedian leaves us, who will take his place? Well, I didn't know what to say. My wife was sitting next to me. I wanted to kiss her goodbye. And I wanted to say, Mary, please forgive me for all my sins. And I wanted to tell her how much I've loved her for the 44 years that we were married. All he kept saying was, who can take my place? Finally, I hollered at him. Johnny, I said, I'm not going yet. I'm going to play golf tomorrow. Let me play golf tomorrow, you know. And he said he was carried away.
I got carried away.
All right, so you didn't have to carry me away. And he kept this up and kept, who's going to take my place? Well, I got news for you. Don't ever worry.
No.
Because Flip Wilson can take my place, and your place, and Bob Hope's place, and Buddy Hackett's place, and Jan Murray's place, and Milton Berle's place, and George Burns'
We gotta all go.
So you and God get together and save Flip Wilson. That's all right. He'll take everybody's place.
That's funny.
You don't have to worry about it. Imagine worrying who's going to take my... I'm going on for a long time yet.
I know you are. I know you are.
I don't want to die.
I get emotional.
Huh?
I get emotional.
What do you got?
I've got to sell something here.
All right. You want me to take your place in this thing?
For some people, a cough can be a shattering experience.
Gee, a cough. Now I'm scared.
We're back now. Don't you have a show, is it with Bob coming up, when, tomorrow, or?
Tomorrow. Well, if this show goes...
Yeah,
Did you say something about being born or Waukegan?
Not being born, I'm going there for my first trip on the 7th of March.
What are you going to do in Waukegan?
I'm going to entertain a group of people for a company out there, Johnson Motors. Their main headquarters, I think, is there.
You'll like
I'll be
it,
there.
yes,
Where
sir.
should I go? Any good spots you can tell me about?
Well, I don't know. It's been so long, you know. I was born in Waukegan, you know.
I know.
Years and years. Years and years
I thought I might
ago.
drop by the high school,
Years ago.
junior high, and
Yeah.
take a picture.
Do you know how long ago I was born? Our rabbi was an Indian. You know? Yeah, go and see my school.
I will.
There's a beautiful school in Waukegan named after me, the Jack Benny Junior High School. And it's really beautiful. And the other two junior high schools are the Thomas Jefferson and the Daniel Webster. Isn't that nice?
I'll go.
Daniel Webster, Jefferson, and Jack Benny.
Good.
That's better than Clayton, Jackson, and Durante. Huh? So, I mean, it's more important. I love Waukegan.
We're starting to talk about the,
What were we talking
Is it the special tomorrow night? The play's when? Wednesday night?
A special. Oh, no, before I forget. Yeah, I must mention this. Now, this show is on tomorrow night.
That's right.
Which means that we're really on now, Wednesday night.
Right.
Well, I got some tickets. No, I'll tell you what happened. Bob Hope and I are running a great big benefit in Santa Monica, see? And I wanted to make sure, because even though it'll be a packed house, there are a few empty seats. Now, this benefit is... No, this is the Los Angeles Music and Art School, and they're for kids, you see, who are studying music and singing, and Bob is also interested in that, and he called me up, and he wanted me to run this benefit with him, see? And the tickets go up to $100.
Thanks.
Now, there are... I got 6 tickets.
Six.
And if you'd like to take... Now, the tickets are nearly sold out, really. You know, it's a big... There are a few empties. That's why I'm plugging it. I want everybody to be there. But these tickets, the big tickets, are $100 a piece. And I got 6 or 4. 4, I think. And if you would like to take 2 tickets, that's still more money than I'm getting here for work. You know.
That's true.
So these are $100 a ticket. You can give them back to me. You can give me the money later if you want it. One for you. Ticket. Want a ticket, Freddie?
Of course.
All right, here.
Floor.
$100.
Thank you, Jack.
You're welcome.
$100.
$100 a seat. Now, if you want to go, and fine. If you...
Well, in that case, I'll take
bleep
2.
that out.
Yes,
Come on.
sure.
They'll still know what I said. I want to tell you something.
There's no price
Now,
on
wait
the ticket,
a minute.
Jack. There's no
Wait a
price
minute.
on the ticket.
You know what I just said? You know, it's such a shocker, isn't it? And today, with what you see in movies, and it isn't shocking anymore.
Even Love Story.
Nothing is shocking. You see nude people. I don't know. It doesn't mean anything. But you can bleep it out tomorrow if you want to. I'll know what I said.
Well, even Love Story.
I'll know what I am. Now, in the morning, and I have felt quakes before, and naturally, if anybody tells you he's not nervous, he's lying, as you know. And I was just lying there in bed, and I didn't know what to think. I thought all I could think of, is this it? Is this going to be the big one, you see? Because then when it was over, it lasted a minute, I think.
Yeah.
Then Mary ran into my bedroom, you know, to see if I was all right. Mary and I have separate bedrooms now. Right? Anyway, she ran into my bedroom to see if I was all right, and then we put on robes, and we went downstairs, and then all the help came in. We have foreign help, and the 6 of us just sat downstairs, and we just talked about it, and we had tea and cookies, like a party. And when I went back to bed, I told the help that I would see him at the next earthquake. I didn't know. I don't know.
Don't get together with him
we'll
too
get
often.
together for the next earthquake at 6 o'clock in the morning. But I want to tell you, that is a shocking thing. Do you know, I could get even with George Burns for everything he has ever done and said about me, now that you mentioned the earthquake. And I'll tell you what it is. First place, I want to pay him a compliment. And then I'm going to tell you what he did. Now, I'll tell you why I want to pay George Burns a great compliment. I saw him on your show, when was it, about 3 nights ago? Was it? About 3 nights ago.
That must have been a repeat.
Yeah.
That was a repeat.
And he's always deprecating himself. He's belittling himself. And he shouldn't, and I'll tell you why. He always tells you that if it weren't for Gracie Allen, he would have been nothing. He'd have been nobody. Now, this is not true. I know George Burns longer and better than anybody in our business. Because even though, and I'll admit, Gracie Allen was one of the great comedians of all time, with the greatest timing I've ever heard. But don't forget, George Burns ran the show. He was the producer. He was a writer. He was a director. He was an editor. He was a great straight man, a great comedian, had to put all this material together in order to make Gracie as funny as she could possibly be. Therefore, as much as I loved Gracie, and as much as I did appreciate her great artistry, I still have to say that George Burns would have still been a big star, would have still found someone to work with, would have still been one of our great, great entertainers in show business. And I mean that sincerely about George.
No doubt.
Because he knows everything. Now I'll tell you.
Now.
Huh? Now I'll tell you the silliest thing. Now I'll go back to how ridiculous he is. How silly. The other day, now this is only a week ago, there were about 6 of us having dinner in a restaurant, and Freddie DeCordova was with us. And we were having a serious conversation. Now, I want to show you what can be in a man's mind. How ridiculous, how silly George Burns can be, and no wonder you have to laugh at him. We were discussing people who have worked for us, you see? And he mentioned a man that used to work for him for years by the name of Charlie Reed. And he's a fellow that worked for George Burns. And it was a serious conversation. Nobody was trying to get laughs. And all of a sudden, I made the mistake of asking a normal question, which you don't dare do in front of George Burns. All I said was, because I hadn't heard from Charlie Reed in a long, long time. And I said, George, didn't Charlie Reed die? And he looked at me for about 4 seconds, and he said, no. Do you want him to? And I said, no. He says, if you want him to, I can call him. He's not doing anything right now. He says, I can call him. And he don't shut the, wait a minute, I want to finish this. Let's take a second. He says, I can call him. And right now, if you want him to die, he's not doing anything. Maybe he'll do it for scale. And the next day, he had Charlie Reed call me to tell me that George told him I wanted to talk to him about something. Now, that's the silliest thing I have ever heard of.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I'll tell you the other one about it.
That's wonderful. Some great American homes have one thing in common: Sears' best interior latex paint.
Longwood still stands in Natchez, Mississippi. And every spring, its doors swing open to give visitors a glimpse of a glorious past. When the Civil War broke out, hammers and saws clattered.
time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble, they're only made of clay. But our love is here.
Acid indigestion, heartburn, bubbles of gas.